Thank you very much for joining me. I think we'll start, and I would like to ask my first question to maybe to Samist. Um, I just want to understand how do you feel about the role of technology, and how do you make sure that it balances off in terms of not spending too much time or all the time on social media?
Um, all right, so I think when you talk about technology nowadays, a lot of people are talking about AI as a tool to manage work and your general life. So, an example I like to give is you have to figure out what you can use what for. So, where I use ChatGPT, for example, is on my way to work when I have to kind of note down my thoughts. I'll switch on the voice feature and I'll just speak for 5-10 minutes and I'll ask it to kind of categorize what I have to do. So I use AI for less creative stuff or technology for less creative stuff, but more to organize my life and kind of get rid of the admin and bureaucratic processes.
Makes sense. Thank you. So, Samist, I believe you were in the corporate sector before you ventured out to become an entrepreneur, and there must have been challenges in terms of up and down. And how did you maintain your work-life balance at that stage? I mean, who was guiding you, or did some particular book or some I don't know, some Insta page which particularly helped you, which you'd like to know about?
To be completely honest, I had no work-life balance for the first 2 or 3 years, and I think anyone who's running a startup would know that. I agree, work-life balance is extremely important, but there are times when, if you're trying to build something extraordinary, you have to have an extraordinary schedule, and you have to compromise on a lot of things. Of course, it's not sustainable, but yes, for the first 2 or 3 years, there was absolutely no work-life balance.
And how do you manage it now?
So I think the first step was understanding it's unsustainable. Right after the third year, I was just completely burnt out, and I'd lost connections to a lot of friends, a lot of family members. So I think the first step was just identifying what are the disposable aspects of my work. So I'll give an example. When you go swimming, let's say you're underwater, there are instances where you're kind of waving your arm around, you're pushing, exerting yourself, but you're not really moving anywhere. So that's the first thing I kind of identified. I thought, what are the things that I do every day at work which don't really move me or the company forward, but just make me feel satiated and make me feel like I'm achieving something, right? For office politics, for example, you go into office and you do office politics the entire day. You come back home and you feel, okay, you know what? I had a heavy day. I did so much work, but actually you've not really achieved much. So that's how it started, and then over time, I think you just start setting boundaries, have a clear, cutoff on Sundays, a clear cutoff daytime on when you're going to stop working and do something for your mental health and physical health.
Fantastic. And Samis, the question to you now. Tell us a little bit about Qurist, and how do you believe that is going to support the wellness industry or balance? What is your philosophy on that?
Fair. So I think one thing that's very synonymous with wellness is quality of life. And I feel there's a huge blind spot on quality of life in our country. Even when you look at the elderly, people who are in end of life kind of cases, you'll see our attitude be more towards keep them in the hospital, but keep them longer rather than let's get them home and make them have a good last 1 month. Um, so what we're really trying to do is improve quality of life, because cannabis actually helps with things like appetite, your mood, your sleep, pain relief, and these are things very very directly related to how happy you are and how the general quality of your life. So that's where I see Qurist move in the future, and that's what we're trying to solve.
So, Samis, this question is coming to you now. I just wanted to understand more about managing time, and I was just also speaking to some of your team members earlier, and they were telling me about the life balance which they have because of the way you have set up your organization. So, tell us a little bit about that.
All right. So I think one thing I realized after not having a work-life balance for 2 to 3 years is that it kind of bleeds into all other aspects of your life. And if you're focusing only on your work and you say, you know what, I'm not going to do anything else, that's not really going to work after a bit, because your lack of doing everything else is going to directly affect your work. So I try my best that my team members also have an opportunity to create a solid work-life balance, that they're happy in what they're doing. And I think especially today, um, with how everyone is, it's very important that your team members stay happy. Otherwise, you're not going to attract the best talent. And I think that's one key trick which I figured out very early on, that if you want to attract the best talent, you have to keep them happy. And this is one of those things which I think contributes majorly to their source of happiness, having a good work-life balance, having things outside of work. It also gives you a lot of perspective when we have discussions in office about, new products we want to release, new marketing campaigns. All of that is completely useless if you're just, stuck in office all the time. If you don't have any outside perspective, if you're not researching on other brands or buying other products, how can you expect to think like a marketer if you don't behave like a consumer? So I think it for business objectives, for as a humanitarian thing, it's very important that all your team members have a solid work-life balance, even if you as a founder don't. I think just to wrap up, I think it was wonderful speaking to you all. You've done a wonderful job moderating. Thank you so much. And it was very interesting to hear all different perspectives from different fields, but all of us agreeing to the same thing, that work-life balance is important, health is important, and there are other things you need to look at outside of work to really have a fulfilling life. So thank you all so much.